And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gym in the Crypto episode 1241. Today is Wednesday, October 30th, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto most days, Monday through Friday at 10ish. And today's top stories: BlackRock Bitcoin ETF breaks $30 billion. US ETF set to hit 1 million Bitcoin holdings. Florida officials want Bitcoin included in state pension funds. DWF Labs partners stood down after drink spiking allegations. And President Biden thanks Nigerian president for Binance execs release. That and much more. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices. Oh, man, an all-time high. I mean, I think it's official between last night and today. It is official. We have a new all-time high. Well, yeah, I think the last one was a 71 some change. I saw reports of it going as high as $73,000 and some change last night. But right now, the price it just dipped. It's still at $72,000 right now, $71,999. Oh, that quick, $72,032 is bouncing around. We're up 0.24% for Bitcoin, all-time high. Ethereum said we are coming as well. Not really, but they're trying. They're at $2,712, up 3.03%. BNB, $598, down 1.3%. Solana, $176, down 1.98%. Dogecoin at 16 cents, up 0.93%. And Tron at number 9 at 16 cents, up 2.5%. You see there just changed. Toncoin at number 10, rounding off the top 10 at $5.02, down 0.56. And woo, see, this is like right now, I had to do it today. I'm going to do this today. I got to tell myself, I have to do this today so I won't forget and I can start creating the real content for this channel. Literally last show, I just called it when I said the fear and greed index was too low. I was like, the fear and greed index should be up. And I was like, I can see it bouncing up here in the next few days, not a couple weeks or whatever. And would you look at that? I think the other day it was like at a 56. Is that a 67? Again, it's a lot of interest before the end of the year. So I think this thing could pump up even more. Bitcoin dominance is at 58.65. Ethereum dominance at a 13.35%. I think that actually bounced up for them a little bit. But yes, this is looking good. You got places. Look, I just see this crypto news story. Russia to ban Bitcoin mining in key regions due to electricity deficit. Hey, this thing is valuable, people. It takes energy to create. It's not coming out of thin air, and it's increasingly becoming more important as you see the derivatives or the derivatives market start to expand on it. So really quick before we get started, let me give some shout outs. Laura Smith, Memories of Mike T, Wisdom Bars, The Painter, Crypto and Focus, Hyben, Brandon Better Days, Quick Pick Crypto, 11 Super Mario, Satoshi Slim. What's going on, Warriors? What up, though, everybody? How's Cardano in the top 20? Oh, that's the one I forgot. I was about to say, I've been thinking since the last, it was like a show or two ago when I was like the top 10 kind of changed, but I didn't really get in detail. I kind of had a brain freeze because I was trying to figure out which token I was forgetting. Holy smokes. Sui is 18. That's hilarious. But yeah, Cardano. That is the one I forgot about. Number 11, Cardano. Hilarious. So it's official. They've had their time in the sun. I would say this. I don't really expect them to pump into the overall market pump. So if it's right now, they'll get a pump. But that's how it goes, folks. That's 2 to 3 years. Okay. They ran the scam, they ran the play. They still got more pumps left for sure. But hey, this is how it goes. You got to back Bitcoin before you back anything else. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this top story of the day. BlackRock is in the news. I think we'll be hearing about them every day for forever moving forward. But BlackRock is in the news as they have these continued ETF inflows, which could help push Bitcoin to a new all-time high, which it essentially has. Which the asset came within $200 of, they said yesterday, but it has officially happened. BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF has surpassed $30 billion in holdings, reflecting rising demand for the world's leading cryptocurrency. The world's largest asset manager reached $30 billion mark less than 10 months after launching its Bitcoin ETF, which began trading on January 10th. They currently hold over 417,000 Bitcoin, worth over $30.4 billion at today's valuation. So again, I want to point out right now, for the most part, they are going 1-1. One Bitcoin ETF equals one Bitcoin or whatever, or not one Bitcoin, but the equivalent's worth, right? So that's the way it's looking now. Again, I think this is very important because if I were a fund manager, if I was over at BlackRock, my intent in the next 3 to 5 to 7 years would to dilute that number. So I could say, instead of having 1-to-1 or the equivalent, let me have 10-to-1, right? 15-to-1, 20-to-1. Like, let me stack as many dollars, as many ETFs inside of one Bitcoin as I can possible in order to dilute it. And I won't have to buy as much Bitcoin in order to settle out in it, right? So right now that has not changed, but I do think that could change in the future. I mean, it just makes perfect sense for them to change it and to dilute it. But right now, you just gotta play with the worm and you gotta reel them in first. Okay, you're fishing right now, you gotta reel them in. That's all that's happening right now. But again, the thoughts I've had these last few months, which are official. I mean, when you look at the charts, as of now, ETF buys are accounting for about anywhere. I think at first I had like an 8 to 12%. I mean, I'm going to go as high as 15% now. The ETF market may be accounting for 15%. You add in, let's say, another 6%, 5% from the futures market. You add in every altcoin out there that's diluting it. Let's say that's an easy 10 to 15%. Let's go ahead and say 15, right? And you look at, I mean, that's what, 30, 35% right there of value, like Bitcoin essentially being devalued, of that price point not reaching what it should be reaching because capital is going in every other direction but that primary asset. So again, Bitcoin is really strong. That's a conservative number. Conservatively, you can say what's 35% of 72,000 right now, and then add that to the price of Bitcoin right now. And you can say, that's about where it should be right now. So just looking at it from that point of view, it's alive as well. It's healthy. The ETFs are only helping it. And again, this is only a couple of countries even doing it right now. Wait until you see the hyper inflation, I guess, of ETFs, or the hyper proliferation of ETFs, I should say. Once you see every major country doing their derivative of Bitcoin, however they do it, and gathering Bitcoin for that purpose. I mean, what, 71K now? Imagine if 2 or 3 big countries do it, 7, 14, 21. I mean, that's $224,000 Bitcoin right there in the next 3 to 5 years. If 2 more countries were to adopt essentially a strategic financial plan that the U.S. is already flowing with, and that's the derivatives. October 29th, the Bitcoin ETFs generated $870 million worth of cumulative net inflows, which marks the second highest day of inflows since March 12th. All right, so here's the thing about that, though. This is the good and bad about that. A lot of these swaps and inflows and outflows, again, as I mentioned last show, a lot of these inflows and outflows. Shout out to Jake Fever. Jake said, called that 70K Monday. Y'all don't be scared of Bitcoin. Here's the thing, though. A lot of these inflows and outflows are being done, like you see them, by BlackRock, and all they're doing is just transitioning and rebalancing capital they already have on the books from other funds, right? Like I said, the firefighters fund, the whatever state fund, all they're doing literally is just saying, oh, today we're going to let that buy a bunch of Bitcoin. If you remember a couple months ago, the price of Bitcoin dipped because they were doing a lot of outflows. I can't remember what exactly was going on the strategic side of the traditional market, but they were saying, hey, this is a good time for us to pull out. And there was news stories and headlines about that. The price of Bitcoin started dipping, started going sideways. Since those couple months that happened, or a few week period when that happened, they've been steadily buying back, especially as the election comes. Again, the election, especially of this type, you got a black woman running, technically incumbent president, not of the last presidency, but he was an incumbent, president before. Is coming back. He's polarizing. A lot of people love, hate him, whatever. But you have these two polarizing figures. That's going to add volatility as well. So we're 7 days away, a few days away from the election, the voting and everything. This is a perfect time for a company to say, all right, we're going to load up on derivatives on something like Bitcoin, because good or bad, we can figure out how to short them longer, long them, margin, whatever. We're going to get our money back with these bots and the amount of money we have to play with. Not saying things could not go wrong. Again, that price of Bitcoin would have sharply dipped for any reason that we didn't see coming, then yes, BlackRock included, would destroy the American market overnight. I'm telling you, this is going to be like a disaster waiting to happen. But let's say all goes well. This makes perfect sense for them to load up as the presidential election comes. My thing is this: will they unload after the election, like right after, or will they unload in Q1? But whenever they do unload, you remember there will be people cashing out. It's holidays coming up. These are cash settled ETFs. And some of them are safe and secure. When you think about the firefighters fund, it's like they're not cashing out for the next 20, 30 years, right? But if there are some individual ones and there are any big money wells in there, they definitely want to cash them out before the holidays and things of that sort. So my only thing would be, would we see the outflows begin to happen again where BlackRock saying, all right, we made some money, we did good, we actually want to switch our game plan? And if that were to happen, would the price of Bitcoin stall, go sideways, and then dip that same 10 to 15%? So just like we're seeing that 73K, maybe 75, 76 by Sunday, we really get a crazy pump. But what if Monday or after the election? I mean, honestly, at this point, leading up to the election, we could see 80, 85K in a week, people. But again, what would happen right after, once all the dust is settled? Once we have Trump again, or once we have Kamala, the first black female president, whatever it is, once we have them and the dust settles and everybody's like, okay, I'm back to work on Monday and life is still life, and what would be the price there? Hold on, let me check out this next story. Oh man, I'm trying not to cough from talking too much and laughing at the comments. Black Bitcoin Key said there's no black woman running. Hilarious. What is she, Indian or something? I don't know. I think she might be Indian. My fault. I told you I haven't been paying that much attention, but I know some back and forth on her. I think she black during election time. Isn't that the way it normally works? Oh man, no, I feel you on that though. That is very true. Person of color. What else do we have going on? Let me see some of the comments real quick. Oh, y'all funny. All right, look, I'm not getting into the politics of who's what. I don't know. I told you I don't even care. Shout out to actor David Harris, one of the original Warriors. Oh, RIP. I didn't know he passed away. Rest in peace as well. I was just actually checking out that movie recently. Florida is in the news. Florida stays in the news. Florida official wants Bitcoin included in state pension funds. I say to that official, what's going on with Miami Coin? Florida's elected chief financial officer and the fire marshal, Jimmy Patronis, said his letter follows Donald Trump's plan for a national stockpile of Bitcoin. Yeah, I think that's a lofty goal for Trump. Even if he were to win, I don't think that's something he would seriously follow up and through with, because he's got enough enemies as it is, and just overnighting it, being like, hey, banking industry, middle fingers up, let's get it. I don't think he will go all the way through with that once the impact starts to hit home for him. Florida Chief Financial Officer Jimmy Patronis wants the agency that manages the state retirement funds to consider investing in Bitcoin. Boom. This is what I mean. This is how it happens. This is the agency that manages the entire state's retirement funds. So the way this normally happens is BlackRock will call them. Hey, you don't know that much about retirement funds. You know about this international fund that's getting you an automatic 10% here. You know about this fund here. You know about our new ETF here. You know we're securing all our capital portfolios that are less than 250 million. We're securing those up to $10 million if you invest your money with us. XYZ. You ever got flown out here with your wife? You want to eat dinner here? Oh man, we could give you this. My point is that state retirement fund, for example, that will be one of BlackRock's portfolios. And when you're talking about these ETF inflows and outflows, they'll just say, hey, I doubt they'll take the whole thing. They're smarter than that. But they, as he's saying, they're thinking about considering investing some of that in Bitcoin. This would be the same thing that BlackRock would do. But hey, we got the Florida State Retirement Fund. How about we just put 15% of that into Bitcoin ETFs? We'll do that with New York. We'll do that with Florida. We'll do that with California. We'll do that with some other big states. We'll do it with some big companies, and we'll do it with some big, service city workers, like I said, police and firefighters. And next thing you know, you have 830 million inflows in one day. And they're saying, well, that's the retail market. Come on. That's technically semantics. I get what you're doing. On paper, it's the retail market. The same way on paper, it's a debt and an asset at the same time, right? It's a liability and asset. Doesn't mean it's actually true. It's just the way you're writing it up and kind of tricking people right there. So it's the same thing in this case. I wanted to point that out, but Florida's thinking about using the state retirement fund to consider investing in Bitcoin. Again, I don't even know if they would do it themselves, or is this just a precursor to say, hey, we're thinking about investing in Bitcoin by the way of BlackRock's ETF. Once again, we're going to get all this whole funds to some professionals. Bitcoin is often called digital gold. It can help diversify the state's portfolio and provide a secure hedge against the volatility of other major asset classes. wrote Petronis an October 29th letter to the Florida State Board of Administration's executive order, Chris Spencer. And to me, it's kind of crazy. This letter was written yesterday, and you're still explaining this to the state board. Like, hey, it's often called digital gold. It can help us diversify and secure a hedge. It's like, we still have to prove it to you. Like, we're still in that proving stage. It's kind of crazy to me that it's still even in that stage, A, and then B, like everyone who is on the other side of not immediately saying yes should be fired or reassigned off of the crypto desk, right? It's like they clearly do not know what they're doing for it to be at the all-time high. Like, I would say, I'm not gonna say a second time, because how many times has it hit the all-time high? But the second time at this high of a price point, and they're still like, oh man, we have to reason with them to want this or understand it. They're either in on it, right? They're incompetent, or they're in on it. Either way, they do not want it for the most part, which means we need an entirely different change of guard, which is why everybody's talking about the voting this year when it comes to crypto participants. He urges the SBA to provide a report on feasibility, risk, and potential benefits of directing a portion of state retirement system monies to digital asset classes. Shout out to Petronis to ask for specific things in return. Hey, I need a report on why you want it, why you don't want it, the good and the bad from you all's point of view. I love that he's actually asking for this in writing. That way, there's no ducking. Well, this is our thoughts on that. It's like, why didn't you write it to them officially on public hitting? Like, this guy's coming to you as, officially. So I love the way they're actually coming after this, and to do so before the next legislation session scheduled for March 4th, 2025. That was the last thing I was going to add. I hope he actually put them on a deadline, and he did. Now, if they respect it or not, we'll see, because oftentimes you'll see in government agencies and intra-government agencies, people are going to be like, you're not my boss. You don't sign my checks. I don't work for you. And even if you are, in some cases, depending on my state, I know enough state laws to where I still can get my way and get what I want and not do your bidding, at least when you want it. So hopefully he doesn't run into that type of red tape. But again, shout out to Jimmy Petronis for, as you can see here, trying to stay ahead of the curve from getting the best returns for Floridians and going after this Bitcoin, trying to redirect some of this retirement fund from the state Florida retirement fund into Bitcoin. So Florida's SBA manages over 30 funds, as it says here, which has about $205 billion in assets under management. And again, that's one state with just their set of funds. I'm telling you how this game goes. Like, oh man, this is why they love me at these places. Like, if I'm working for BlackRock, it's like, whether this is my job or not, this is how you get promoted in these financial companies. I'm picking up the phone, ask your boss first. Hey, is it okay if I call some companies, just make some inroads and get some ideas and where their thoughts are? If they don't mind, yeah, go ahead. You call these companies, you call Florida State, you call the SBA. You know they have $205 billion. We're not asking for all of it. We're just asking for the retirement fund. We're not asking for all of that. We're asking for 15% of that to be redirected. You do that with you can just do that in Florida from their $205 billion, right? They say they had $837 million of inflows. So you really could just do that with Florida. And I already mentioned 3 different states in different ways you can kind of break this down, but that is literally how you get these numbers and these new headlines where it's like, oh yeah, the ETF retail market has had $837 million of inflows. It's like, people, there weren't $837 million worth of individuals in the last 24 hours calling up BlackRock and saying, yeah, I want to buy some Bitcoin ETFs. That's not the way it was working. They're taking the fund, which is already being ran by 1 or 2 people at most, and they're making decisions on behalf of millions of people. Oftentimes, these people don't even know. And this is also the same way you can be invested in prisons and not know. You could be invested in I don't know, chemical tests on animals that you might not know about. Like, this is where it gets to like, oh, I know I was supporting this company. Like, they have blood diamonds. It's like, yeah, but they're getting you 14% a year for the last 10 years. Do you want us to take this out of your portfolio if you're asking, specifically, but have you done the due diligence of what your portfolios look like? I know when I used to have them, I did not. I just wanted to be an aggressive portfolio. I said, hey, win or loss, bring me something back. Bring me some news back, good or bad. Like, you guys are regulated by the government or whatever. Like, I'm not paying that much attention. Like, I'm paying attention to the numbers, but not really paying attention. So it kind of works the same way. Price sliding for Kamal in the crypto chat. You guys are hilarious. It's a great proposal, but how much of that 15% will go to Jimmy Patroni's wallet? Oh, listen, with a last name like Patroni's in Florida, hey, got to get a little taste, all right? Just got to get a little taste, just a little bit. That's all. Let's see. Uh, what else we have? Yeah. Okay, more politics. People, it doesn't matter. They're both a part of the American government. Trust me, it won't. They won't stray that far from the path. It doesn't matter who your president is. Believe me, they will not be straying that far. Listen, when we get an American president that says we are going to stop bombing the Middle East and bring home service members because we're really not at war with anybody. When we get that president or politician, then I'll believe they're not. But when we get one that says, hey, I have a party just as big as the Republicans and the Democrats, but it's going to be called the moderates, because there's no way to have one polarizing side with 330 million people who all have different personalities in a place where we enrich and want people to have their own freedoms and creativity and personality. There's no way we're all going to get along. So until I start to see stuff like that, they're all on the same side. They're just feeding you different narratives, okay? Like it's WWE. They're showing you Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, or The Undertaker, or whoever else. They're all a part of WWE, okay? It doesn't change. Please, I want one of y'all to come on next year, whoever wins, and be like, this is how I made so much money and my kids, my family's life changed because of this person being president. Daddy or mama so-and-so. I got to see it. All right. DWF Labs partners stood down after drink spiking allegations. To segue into a little bit more of a serious article, a waitress at a Hong Kong, shout out to Hong Kong, been in Hong Kong, Lan Kwai Fong and Wan Chi. You know, this, I'm assuming this probably happened in Wan Chi. If you know, you know. A waitress at a Hong Kong bar allegedly spotted the DWF Labs partner drugging the victim's drink while attending the bathroom, an accusation she claims is backed by CCTV footage. Woo-wee. A partner at crypto trading platform DWF Labs has been stood down after allegations he spiked the drink of a job a job applicant too? Oh my goodness. Woo-wee. Diabolical behavior of a job applicant at a Hong Kong bar. While the matter is under investigation, DWF Labs has decided to dismiss the said partner from management and operational roles effective immediately. They said in October 29th statement. Here it is. We are aware of the recent and deeply concerning allegations involving one of our partners who has been accused of inappropriate and unacceptable behavior. While the matter is under investigation, DWF Labs has decided to dismiss the said partner from management and operational roles effective immediately. Now, one thing I'll say quickly is this. I think DW, like, not only do I think this may be a true story, and I also think DWF Labs may think it's a true story. A few reasons. We're talking crypto here, where, I mean, I won't say the freedom is limitless, but there's more freedom in this market and space than I would say, like, really outside of like a legitimate criminal. That doesn't make any sense. Oxymoron, a legitimate criminal market, right? Unless you're talking about like, no. This is like the drug market. You're talking about hardcore drug market or other type of criminal activity outside of those markets. And technically, you can argue they don't have that much freedom. It seems like you have a lot of freedom until you're in the right city or state around the right group of people. Then you realize it still isn't that much freedom. You can't just be setting up shop anywhere. But my point is, like, when you talk about rules and laws and what you're allowed to do and where you're allowed to travel, who you can work with and who you can invoice, like, it is limitless when it comes to crypto and Bitcoin as a whole. So my point is, for it to be that limitless and this to be happening in Hong Kong, for DWF Labs, if you're a partner and you're making that much money for them and you're doing that much good work for them, they'll relocate you to another state, another country. They'll pay for this, lawyers, whatever, right? They will go above and beyond. They have the capital, they have the resources, and they don't have the restrictions to essentially be stopped. So for your own company to say, nah, we didn't put him on suspension, we just missed him, he's gone. To do it that and to go that far, that means the company has an idea of that person's personality already, where they're like, hey, they do be drinking, they do get wild. Like, you know, maybe we even heard a story or two before, or they've already wanted to get rid of you because you aren't producing any value when it comes to the company. Like, this is the person who's been, it costs us the most money, they take the most time. Regardless of what it is, whether it was a play on the inside where it is like we've been waiting for this opportunity, or they actually believed as like, no, this person is capable of it. It says a lot for a crypto company to get rid of one of their partners, because this is a space where you do not have to do it. Like, point blank, period. You don't have to do it in this space, no matter how much. Like, come on, some of the tweets and things that like some of the main people in crypto have done is absolutely crazy. So you definitely don't have to give anyone up. So for them to be doing it, that means that no, they know who they're working with. And they may think this has some validity to it as well. So October 29th, post on X. Really quick, the reason why I'm bringing up this story also is because there are a ton of crypto events. And I've said this before, that is what I hate about them. And I can kind of tell where it's just, all right, we're just trying to sell something here versus, bridge that gap and talk about the tech. And that's where you get the crypto events with the Lamborghinis, the bikinis are out, the chests are out, it's turned up. There's more about the drinking and partying and all that versus this is the new tech that's coming out. This is the new project doing this, something unique. It's not as much about it. Those are also the events where it's like, yeah, they do have some of the bigger parties and things are going on. It's like, hey, you better be careful. You're going to end up on the wrong side of one of those parties, and that's where no one wants to be. But Hannah, a Web2 venture capitalist, claimed a DWF Labs partner had approached her multiple times in a Hong Kong bar on October 24th to discuss a role she was a perfect fit for, despite her having never worked in crypto before. Again, I'll say this, whether it's the crypto market or I've seen this in the legal field, I've seen this in many markets. I've been around males as well also, where it's like, they run that pitch. They run it. Hey, you trying to come work for your boy? You trying to blah, blah, blah. You trying to come do this? I need an assistant. You want to, hey, you ever thought about this? I've been around it enough times to see it. So yes, just her saying this story, I'm like, not saying she can't be lying. People make up a lot of stories, but this is the one where I'm like, unless like I would have to see evidence of her using this story before. But even then, if you go to these conferences and these events a lot in these corporate environments, this is a play from these. This is the same play as a corporate player, as an athlete would do. Like, I play for so-and-so team. Like, this is their play right there. Oh, you need a job? Like, you're trying to get, like, low key, I think that's illegal. I think the US has made that pretty clear. You can't be doing that. But I will say I've seen this play before. So for her to describe it like that, I'm like, I know this play. She said her drink was spiked while she went to the bathroom. The victim claims she had a few sips of her drink before a waitress told her that her drink had been spiked while she was in the restroom. Oh, wow. The accused has stepped outside to make a phone call at the time when he returned. Hannah said she didn't like the taste of the wine and suggested changing it for another one, but he demanded that she not waste it and finish it before ordering another glass. Here it is. I never thought a person experienced something like this. On the evening of October 24th, I was drugged by a partner at DWF Labs at a bar in Hong Kong. I've reported this to local police and have collected video evidence of him spiking my drink. Ooh, wait. I think this is the clip over here. I'm not sure if this is him, but is that he's leaned over? I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not going to say. Is that a drink in his hand? It's something in his hand. I'm not sure. Wow, that's crazy. It's nasty work. He previously approached me a couple of times offering a job opportunity, a project he claimed was a perfect fit for my background. As someone new to crypto and eager to learn, I accepted his invitation. She later recalled feeling extremely dizzy when she stepped outside, where the accused allegedly tried to lure her back to his hotel. I can remember the disgust I felt when he kept saying, "Come with me. I have a suite at the Murray, and stay close to me. I can give you more alpha. I can get you more places." Oh, man, listen, yeah. Definitely don't trust somebody from the crypto market telling you he's going to give you some alpha at 1 a.m. Like, that is crazy work. I'll say this. I think, honestly, I've been drugged once before. I was in San Diego. I had one drink with a group of people before we went to a club. And you remember, I'm going out all the time. And I played football and was in the military. I can drink. So drinks aren't really that big of a deal. I get to the club. It's a lot of girls with us. We a decent sized group, a lot of pretty women with us, and only like 3 or 4 guys. A tray of drinks come by, and everyone's grabbing a drink. I didn't even finish it. I take like 2 sips of this drink, whatever, and instantly I was like, something is wrong. I remember telling my other buddy, he was in the military, so I'm like, I gotta go, something wrong. He was like, what's going on? It's like, we were actually there. I can't remember. It was a big performer that he's popular still now, but there's some performers who were rapping that night, and I was like, I gotta get out of here, like something's wrong. And within 2 minutes of like getting in, taking a couple of sips of a drink, I just darted out and went to my car. Locked the door. I parked on like one of the main streets. I locked the door, threw my keys like under the seat just in case you get caught. Not saying you drinking and driving. And literally just passed out. Just boom, just went out. Woke up at this is probably what, 11 p.m. or whatever, because we were trying to get there before the headliner. Wake up at like 3 or 4 a.m. Just open my car door and just start throwing up everywhere. Just throwing up everywhere. Just out of it. Just felt so drained and everything. I was like, holy like I definitely got drugged or whatever. So made it home, whatever. I think I went to medical, whatever, the next day. And somebody was like, you're really lucky because this is like a snake and rabbit trick. And I'm like, what? They was like, usually when people get drugged, the snake, they call it a snake biting the rabbit. They puts the poison in you and then it watches you leave the place and stumble out. And then it tries to pick you up later or whatever. And that's how you become a victim. So somebody was like, you're lucky you even got back to your car and locked the door or whatever. But that is what this reminds me of. And this is what it sounds like, where it's like you drug the person, you kind of wait around, and then on the way out, you kind of recircle back. And it's like, oh, hey, again, it sucks that you even have to know this type of information. But that is the good stuff that come from being outside. Like you got to know the games people play. And again, for her to describe this the way she described it, I'm like, I've seen this in action. I've experienced a part of it. And it's like, this sounds like a real story, especially if she already went to the police and got the reports done and lab tests and all that. If you treat me well, I can give you more inside information, the perpetrator allegedly told her. Hannah says she has since obtained the CCTV footage of the incident and filed a police report with local police. Neither DWF Labs nor Hannah confirmed the name of the alleged perpetrator. Not sure why not. DWF Labs is headquartered in Singapore. Oh, I'll get you. That's smart for them. They disassociate yourself. And it shows that 11 of its 58 employees are based in Hong Kong. Ooh, where the victim and accused met. Okay, good job by DWF Labs. They're like, you are not going to compromise our relationship with the Hong Kong government and everything we built here. You're gone. They said more than half his workforce was comprised of female employees, and the decision to dismiss the executive reflected his unwavering commitment to maintaining a safe workplace. We do not condone actions that go against our core values, integrity, respect, and accountability, the firm said. Shout out to DWF Labs, but the next thing they got to do is release this person's info, because if not, I mean, at the end of the day, you still were a partner for a crypto company. If you show any type of value, I'm telling you now, another crypto company will pick this person up, and then it'll literally be 2 years from now, we'll read a similar story like this. And we're like, who is this person? You get to do some digging, and it's like your due diligence, some digging. It's like, oh, that's one from DWF Labs, and no one knew whose name it was and what happened to this person's story. It's like, I better tell some people before he start throwing these crypto conferences again. This is crazy. Crazy work. It's unfortunate to see, but yeah. You gotta be careful. Let's see. Someone dropped some bars in that drink. Listen, someone dropped some stuff in that drink. I am telling you. And you know, it's really funny for another podcast. It's not crypto related. What happened after that was actually even crazier, people. It's something that happened after that. But it's for another story for another day. Just another story for another day. But yes, that was a crazy experience. Let's see, what else do we have? Puerto Rico. I thought Puerto Rico was good. Isn't it Crypto Rico? I thought it was Crypto Rico. Let's see. Dude had that baby oil and pink powder back at the Murray Hotel. Listen, he has something. But shout out to Hannah for being able to, keep her wits about her and get about her. And shout out to the person who worked there as well for giving her that heads up. She should have waited till Buddy was right in front of her and gave her the heads up, like, hey, he spiked your whole drink. We got him on camera. Don't let him leave. All right, last but not least, I just want to circle back to this story about the Binance exec. And, I said, hey, either they paid the cost or the United States gave them that tap on the shoulder and let them know gang wasn't playing on this one. I think we got our answer. It might have been a combination too. Nigerians still might have got a little taste of some money, but like I said before, it's election time. Love it or hate it, the guy who was working for Binance, he was an American citizen, and it's just some headlines we cannot have right now. Now, if this shit would have happened like November 9th, oh man, I would have felt bad for this Binance exec. We may have not heard from him for another 3 or 4 years until it was time for another Brittany Griner Lord of War trade. Okay. But that wasn't the case. It happened right before an election cycle. I think he's lucky. But I want to point out, I think, one of my analysis was correct on this. President Biden thanks Nigerian president for Binance execs release. A former IRS special agent and Binance's head of financial crime compliance, Tigran Gambaryan, which we've been talking about last few weeks, have been in Nigerian custody with reports of deteriorating health since February. Joe Biden spoke to President Bola Tinubu of Nigeria, offering his appreciation that Binance's head of financial crime compliance had been released on humanitarian grounds. This came from October 29th. Notice from the White House. President Biden had a call with them in which he thanked the Nigerian leader for helping secure the release of humanitarian grounds of American citizen and former the release on humanitarian grounds, of American citizen and former U.S. law enforcement official Tigran Gambaryan. The Binance exec had been in Nigerian custody for roughly 8 months until being allowed to leave the country on October 23rd. And he was repeatedly denied bail. We've been talking about this story, but again, this is the headline. I don't think the money play really happened. Again, even if the money play happened, it was a very small amount. And the reason why is because the United States, unless, and I'm all right, I'll get super conspiracy before I call it a day. I'll get real deep. Unless the United States, which honestly we wouldn't even do, and I'll tell you why, but unless the United States was like, we're going to double tap Binance through Nigeria. Hey, don't hurt our boy, but just make sure we get, hey, y'all get y'all taste and y'all passes our taste. So that is something that could happen, but to me, I highly doubt it because it's just too deep. In the United States doesn't need Nigeria to put the squeeze on Binance. We've shown that we've already done it and we could do it again. So I would say no, it wasn't a money play through Nigeria. I think Nigeria had their own play going, like I said. I would say I don't think Binance even paid them. And if they did, it was a very small taste, like processing fees to get our boy back. I don't even think they paid them. And the reason why is because, again, if they would have paid them, the United States would have looked at it as that could have been our money, A, and B, like I just said, we don't need you to get it either. Like we didn't ask you to go get our money. We don't need you to get it. So you're interfering. So I don't think there was no money exchange from Binance to Nigeria. I think the United States eventually did wake up and tell, like, man, my cousin called me again. Yeah, or my uncle aunt called me again about my cousin. All right, go get him, go talk to him. Like, all right, man, Nigeria, look, I'm not gonna make this call again. Let our boy, yeah, it's election. Let him go. Thank you. We appreciate it. And that's what we did publicly. We thanked them publicly. We appreciate your cooperation. By doing this publicly, we're letting Nigeria's foes and allies alike know that, hey, the U.S. is friends with Nigeria. We got your back. We're partners. We work together. And this gives Nigeria a little cachet where it's like, all right, if you need something that's not too big, the U.S. is here for you the next couple of years. You did just let one of ours go. We are here for you. You should have grabbed them. So don't get carried away with the axe. But yeah. All right. You gave it to him back with no fuss. So what do you need? This is the way it works on the back end. All right. So, shout out to U.S. government first and foremost. Shout out to Uncle. Hey, Uncle Sam, people. Shout out to Uncle Sam. All right. All he needs to do is apologize for the big sin. Other than that, Uncle Sam is trying. Shout out to Uncle Sam for getting one of the Americans back. Shout out to Nigeria for cooperating. That way we didn't have to do any military exercises in that area of the world. You know we love to deliver some freedom. So you all keep doing what you're doing over there. Don't grab up no Americans. I know they pissed off at Binance too. They probably going off on their squad who kidnapped them. Out of everybody y'all could have grabbed. All right, you had Chinese nationals, Russian nationals, Singaporean nationals, Australian. Now you grab an American national. Boss, you said he was in charge of Nigeria, or the money. I don't know. It's like, oh man, you grabbed the wrong guy. But we got him back. Everything's good. And again, I don't think no money was changed. No big money was changed. I think the U.S. tapped that shoulder and said, stop playing, give us a boy back. It's that simple. Other than that, that is the show for the day. Woo, you all went all in on this political talk in the chat. Altcoin season end of 2024, or we gotta wait till next year? I think we might get some we'll get some this year. And the reason why is because next week we can see Bitcoin. If Bitcoin hits 80K, we're gonna get altcoin action for sure. It'll dip down and it'll do that super aggressive push up. It really would just be about what happens with the ETF inflows and outflows after. Like I said, those outflows start to stack up and they just reverse it after they get their money, short the market. You got to remember how many games are being played. If you hold Bitcoin ETFs and you know they're going to do 10 to 15% of the market, you can inflow and outflow and all day in futures, like in short and long the market. Like that is a double way, like triple. You know how much money you can bring in at a firm of the size of BlackRock? Like you have to piecemeal it that way you don't just destroy the market and the market confidence. But I mean, literally, you just inflow, it pumps, you go long, margin trade, make money. You take out ETFs, outflows, you short the market in 3 days, and boom. If you're BlackRock doing that, that is just nonstop. So I do think with that type of volatility, we will see altcoins still pump. It's really just going to be about catching those pumps. I think there'll be a lot, like they'll be more aggressive, but in shorter cycles. So we'll see. Let's see. Did Biden have anything to say about that African helicopter crash in California earlier this year during the Super Bowl? That's a good point. I keep forgetting about that. I keep forgetting about that crash. This kidnapping could have been a response to that crash. Good point. Somebody said that. So maybe it's getting deeper than we thought. Great point. Great point. All right. Somebody said teases. All right. Here's a tease. The night I was drugged. I had an ex-girlfriend I just broke up with, and she was doing all that dramatic stuff. And she basically was like, she needed some help. She was in some trouble. She had just got a new roommate who's a guy. Everybody was asleep. I had to use my Navy skills to figure out how to get to one of the higher floors of an apartment building and get inside. But it got interesting. But she was fine. She was, full of it, just wanted some attention. But it was an interesting story for sure. Hey, 11 Super Mario said, I'll say it again, Warriors, don't sleep on the base coins. I can agree with that. Base coins, it definitely would definitely get some action toward the end. Enzo Carter, what up, though? Smash that like and share, and I will see you.